like a pro. You thought.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to Brandi Beauty TV. Today we are going to be doing a gray coverage transformation. This is my wonderful and beautiful client Nakia, and she's about 30 to 40% gray in some areas and a little less in others. More so, her grays tend to pop out more so in her crown in the front, and in the back and towards the nape of her hair, she's normally maybe about 10%. Like, it's not nearly as much as the front. And that's okay. That's common. That happens sometimes. As you can see, look at all that gray right there in that center. Like, but in the back, you really can't see it all that much. It's because she really doesn't have that much. But yes, today we're going to be transforming her. It's been a while since she's had her roots touched up, so we're going to touch up her roots. And as you can see, I've already done the other sections, so my main quadrant that I'm going to be working on for her root touch up is this last one here on the left hand side. And her base color is 6M, and M as in mocha. And I love the tone on her because it is so fresh and vibrant, and it just gives the perfect amount of warmth that she desires. A lot of people think that, when they say, oh, I just want a nice brown for my base, if they desire to change their base color and it is brown, we tend to think that it's just one brown, but there are so many different color browns that you can choose from. So when we were going through her desired shade, initially she was a lot richer and a little bit warmer than she is now. So she wanted to tone it down a little bit. At first she was more like a copper brown, kind of almost. Even a little bit, I really wouldn't say mahogany. It wasn't purple at all. Mahogany's more on the purple side, but it was definitely more in the copper brown family, and it was beautiful on her skin, but she didn't have many highlights at that time. So we decided to tone down her base color. So I started letting the copper brown grow out, and as you can see, it's still there a little bit faintly on the ends. It's a little bit warmer of a brown. And then maybe like the first 6 inches of her hair, maybe 5 inches, that might be too much to me, about 4 inches. The first 4 inches of her hair is her new shade, and that's that mocha color. So I'm going to make sure I apply that, make sure I'm saturating that fully. Nakia's hair is very, very porous. It's curly, and it just eats up the product. So I have to make sure that I am saturating her hair fully. And then once we are done with that, we'll move into the highlights. So before we get into these highlights, y'all, look, let me go ahead and express to y'all what's going on here. So the month of September was just so crazy busy. It is towards the end of bridal season, and in my salon, it has been crazy. Like, normally right before the holidays, I'll get like this huge, massive surge of new clients. And between juggling that and then all the weddings that took place in the month of September, and then also juggling home life, YouTube just had to take a back seat. So I just wanted to thank you all and express my gratitude for your patience. Right now, I'm kind of on a hunt for a salon assistant, guys, because look, it has just become way too much for me at this point. And so, yes, I am on the hunt, and I am looking for a salon assistant. So if you are in the Marietta area, you live in Georgia, and you're looking for a position, you're in cosmetology school, about to graduate cosmetology school, look, shoot your shot, okay? Like, I only need one. So that's the thing, because I do want to be able to grow with somebody. I really want to be able to pour all my knowledge into that person, whoever, I select. So the application is down below if you are interested. And yeah, so y'all, that's what's been going on. And like I said, and I'm sure this is not going to be the first time or second time that this happens. Sometimes that just happens, with life, things get busy and stuff. So But at any rate, I love YouTube, and so I'm always going to make sure that I upload content. Make sure you all know at least what to expect when I'm ready to post. So thank you all so much for your patience, and let's go ahead and get back into these highlights. So as you can see, I am doing a little combination of two different patterns. I am making sure that I sliced out on an angle, I should say on a diagonal, because we are trying to blend. So with grays can be tricky sometimes because they are going to grow in. I mean, obviously, that's just the law of nature. I can't fight nature, but we can kind of tame it just a little bit. So I am slicing out a big section, weaving out a few strands, making sure they're kind of fine. I don't want them too thick because we're not trying to create the utmost dimension. We're trying to blend, but we're still trying to leave it seamless, and so she can still see her base color. So I'm tipping out some of her ends because I do want to leave that warmth there, because we're not trying to make her blonde. We're just trying to make her blended. You see what I'm saying? So by tipping out the ends, we're going to create that soft, nice transition. So all of her highlights kind of feed into it together. They all kind of marry one another. And I love tipping out the ends. I'll get into that a little bit later. But then I'm going to go through and just individually just paint these little weaves that I put out. And I'm going to put cover that in the balayage film. And so what that's going to do is it's going to create this beautiful, I'm not going to say stripy, but this blended kind of situation, kind of towards the root to the mid shaft, and then towards the end, it's going to all just kind of start marrying each other. And the beautiful thing is that Nakia's hair is somewhat cut in layers, so she's going to have nice different lengths to play with, and her color is really going to read really, really beautifully on top of her haircut. Now, as far as tipping out the ends, y'all, this is one of my favorite techniques to do, period, because it can leave the hair so dimensional. For some people, they like stripy hair, okay? And so when you're working with any type of weave or slice and you don't tip out the ends, it can read a little bit stripy from the root to the ends of the hair, which is fine if that's what the client wants. That's a very beautiful finish too. But for me, I love tipping out the ends because it really makes it so much more diffused, and you really can't see where things are starting and beginning, and it just creates the most ultimate dimension. Like, if you want to really see your hair color pop and you have a nice, beautiful base color that you want to exaggerate, tipping out the ends is going to draw more attention to that versus just leaving those ends open. So you'll see exactly how this all blends together once we're done. But it's a very, very, very easy and beautiful technique, and it varies depending on the length of the hair. Sometimes this technique is not suitable for all haircuts. It really just depends on the client itself. Okay, y'all, so now that we are just about done applying Nakia's hair color, let's go ahead and get into this formula and break this thing on down. So for her roots, I used my Matrix line. Y'all know I love Matrix, and that's pretty much between Matrix and Redken, that's pretty much the two color lines I primarily work with. But I use the 6M from the Dream Age line, and the Dream Age is concentrated on extreme gray coverage. So kudos to the Dream Age because they get the job done. So I use 6M and 20 volume developer because we need that 20 volume to cut through the coarseness of those gray hairs. Make sure that it can break that down and cut through that cuticle, because we all know that gray hairs are a lot more stubborn. And 10 volume just won't do it, and 30 volume is too strong sometimes. So that 20 volume cuts through perfectly while maintaining the integrity of the hair. And then for her highlights, I did the clay lightener, my pulverized clay lightener in 20 volume. 20 volume was sufficient because as you can see, she already had some lightness through. So we really weren't trying to make her too bright. We just needed something to be able to cut through the color. And since I was highlighting her hair over the hair color, that warmth was okay. So 20 volume was perfect for that. And then for her global gloss, we were going for a nice buttery tone. So I used the Redken Shade TQ. I did 1 ounce of 7T, as in titanium, 1 ounce of 9NB, as in, I think that is neutral brown or neutral beige. Don't quote me on that. I forgot what that actually stands for. But I knew what I was doing when I was mixing it. And then I did 2 ounces of the gloss solution. And the reason why I did put that 7T in there is because, one, I was all out of level 8, so I need to create a level 8. So between that 7 and that 9 doing equal parts, I was going to get an 8. And then the coolness and the ashiness in that tea was going to tone it down. I didn't want her too warm. She wasn't going for that. And sometimes when you really have to pay attention to your client's skin tone and their undertones, because sometimes warmth can clash. Sometimes it's too much. So add in those ashy colors. I always keep a lot of different kinds of ash, violets and greens and blue-based colors, because it can really tone down the overall look. Because just as ash and solely ash can be intimidating, when things are too warm, that can be intimidating too. So it's always very important to look at your client's skin tone to be able to match tones to them and to see what they want. Okay, y'all, so as you can see, we are just about done blow drying, and now I'm just taking that serum and applying it through the mid shaft to the ends of her hair, and that's just going to make sure that we keep those ends nice and intact and keep them nice and sealed. And I love using serums for that. But let me use this moment to lay down a little bit of law. Now, I know hair oil is just it's the trend right now. Everybody has a hair oil, growth oil, scalp oil, all those things. But let me express to you why you should not be applying oil to the scalp. First of all, your hair naturally creates its own sebum to moisturize your hair strands, right? And so when you are taking other oils and putting it on your scalp, what you are doing is clogging the pores, and you are also blocking the ducts. So your hair will not be able to grow and flourish as it should. And you're also blocking the natural oil from coming down. Your hair knows exactly how much sebum to create, which is the oil that it produced. That's the name for it. It knows exactly how much to produce to moisturize your strands. So when you do things that lock that hair up, that prevents that oil from getting down that hair shaft, you create dry hair. And so for me, when I'm applying any type of oils or serums, I'm always going to apply it to the ends, because on natural curly hair, kinky hair, even sometimes wavy hair, it takes the oil so much longer to travel down the shaft when it's left in its natural state. However, if the hair is straightened, then it will come down a lot faster because it's straight. The oil can just slide right down. But when the hair is curly, it takes it almost 2 to 3 times much longer to get down that hair shaft. So imagine your hair being locked up in braids and, the sew-ins and the extensions that require you to braid your hair down. That oil is just sitting at the root. It's not getting a chance to travel. So when you take those things out, you're experiencing this surge of just extremely dry hair, and you just can't figure out why your hair is so dry. It's not being able to be lubricated. It wasn't able to be moisturized. And so that's why I urge people to wear their own hair more than they wear extensions, because it's just so much healthier. Let me take a break. Look at Nakia's hair, y'all. It is just so blended. And let me add that I also did trim her hair off camera. I don't know why I did not trim her hair on camera. I think I forgot that the camera was rolling because I was so into what I was doing. But y'all, this hair is looking good. Nice and buttery. Like, ooh, I love. The blend is everything, and that's what she wanted. So, and that's my goal, is to always please the client, keeping the health and integrity in mind. So anyways, back to this oil situation. Y'all, make sure that you are oiling the ends of your hair, if anything. If you're going to be wearing your hair locked up in those kinds of styles, things that prevent that sebum from getting down, those kinds of hairstyles, apply it to the ends of your hair, not your scalp. Your scalp is going to get more than enough product on it from the sweat, and your skin's going to be shedding, and dead skin cells. I mean, everything that goes on at the scalp, trust me, you don't need to block the ducts. It's going to be fine. What you do need, however, is you need something on the ends of the hair so that you can try to keep it as lubricated as possible. And even then, use your best judgment with that as well, because too much of anything isn't good. So you just always want to keep that in mind. Oh, and let me also add that healthy hair, you will see that it does an excellent job at moisturizing and lubricating the strands on its own. When it comes down to my hair, I may apply a little bit of serum when I initially blow it dry, but after that, I don't apply anything else. And by that time, after so long, my hair has pretty much absorbed it. But a little goes a long way, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm always stressing healthy hair first, because you will find that when your hair is healthy and it's trimmed, it will behave so much better. You won't have to fight with styling it, taking care of it. Like, trust me, like, for real. I know I'm talking about when it comes down to that healthy hair stuff, y'all. Healthy hair is the tea, and you don't have to cover it up. You won't feel the need to be buying all these products and stuff. It'll just be unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? So take care of your hair. Make sure that you are always in search of finding a good stylist and a knowledgeable stylist, someone who really knows what they're doing. Okay, y'all, let me tell y'all, I am so proud of Nakia. Nakia's been coming to me since 2017, I believe, 2018. That's how long Nakia has been coming to me. And I do her daughter's hair as well. She's so cute. And when I first started doing Nakia's hair, she didn't even have a crown at the top. The top was severely damaged due to like sew-ins and, just lack of care and everything. We couldn't even get a bang. Like, I was forever always having to add pieces to her hair. I mean, everything was just broken off everywhere. I wish I had a picture, but I did not take one when she first started coming to me. And so after a while, she just said, you know what, I really want to start taking care of my hair. And I told her, I said, Nakia, your hair grows. So I never look at the present state and let that be like determining how we're going to end up. If I see your hair is growing and it's not reaching a certain point and it's not coming down, that means that it's a hair care is the issue. So I told her, I said, let's make your hair wearable. Let's cultivate it. Let's make it pretty. Let's juice this thing on up. So that's when we started playing with color. And at first we did have to put, she did have a couple micro links in the crown. And that was about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. But since she has been committed and dedicated to her hair, this is what we have been able to achieve and accomplish. And I couldn't be more proud of her because she committed to taking care of her hair, and it is just flourishing. I am so excited. Like, y'all, we couldn't even do this once upon a time. There was no bang, there was no swooping, there was no tucking behind the ears. Like, her hair is just reaching and it just looks so healthy. And this is why I do what I do, y'all. Like, there is nothing more than seeing smiles on my clients' faces when they finally see what their hair can do. And it makes me feel good as a stylist. And as you can see, her hair just came out so beautifully. It fits her, color complements her well. And that's what it's all about. It's making people feel good. So thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell too, y'all, so y'all can, stay tuned for future uploads. And as always, I will see y'all in my next video.